I was going to come back, strip the paint, and you know, do a little maybe metal or polyester filler, and you know, start primering, you know, or doing whatever I need to do, right? And no, got most of the body work done, but we have a part he couldn't get to with the tools he had, which is right here. It's totally mangled. You can see he tried to pull out stuff, and it's also double. There's like two pieces here, one behind it, one in front, so that's why he couldn't get to it. So my buddy Ted brought over the old stud welder. So we were messing around with this dent over here, and you can see we tried, and it wouldn't stick. Couldn't get it to stick. So then we went over here where we know welding has been done, and we got it to stick. So this is thinner, this is thicker stuff. I'm gonna have to figure out a little bit what I'm doing and see if I could bring this back to life. Some of these holes have been filled, but obviously there's a lot more rust in areas I didn't know. And of course, now we got two new things over there. He also brought me over some hammers, and I think they're called dollies. So what I thought was bam, 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 bam is going to be literally bam, bam, bam with a hammer for the next month or whatever. And then my neighbor, I don't know if I talked about this, but my neighbor brought over a MIG welder and said, here, have fun, learn. And so now I have a MIG disposal at my disposal. And all the holes from putting in the carpet and everything, I'll be able to start filling those. And, you know, basically practicing. There's a major gaping hole there that was a breather and a kind of a drain for the old batteries. I'm probably going to weld that all up because the AGM batteries are sealed, I believe, don't leak. At least that's what I'm using my 33. And I don't have a vent or anything like that. Of course, I could always put a little tiny vent in there instead of those big gaping holes. The other thing I'll say is when we went to have this fabricated, I was assuming that this was going to be way bigger. In fact, I thought it was going to come off the hump, and it didn't come off the hump. It's off to the side. So that was actually going really, really well. And so I got a lot less room being taken up. And so, you know, I'm starting to think about, well, first of all, am I going to have the step coming out? If I lower the vehicle, maybe there's no need for the step, which would make it cleaner. But I also do like the step that it kind of comes out and in, and I would put an actuator on it and not have this thing coming out of the floor and connect it to the door. There would just be a switch on the door and it would come out. Let's say that goes away. There's no step. Let's say we seal up the battery there. Goes away. Maybe the battery comes back here. And now we have all this area here to be kind of what I would say is under the dash, if you will. Because there's not much space under the dash because there's windshield washers and the dash doesn't extend that far. And so maybe all my wiring and brains and fuses and stuff could be in boxes behind the seat or under the seat on each side. Not really sure yet. And I think what's becoming more clear is since we were able to preserve the authenticness of this unit, and it looks like he got some dents out, need a little bit more here. There was a major gash in the back he got out. This top might be either 100% revealed, in other words painted, and that's what you see, or if we could do leather that matches it and like goes into the grooves and stuff, so you still have that look, that would be pretty wicked. And then originally I was going to have actuators bring this thing up, But then I realized all I need is like a hatchback window shocks on each side. And then we could take that and then you just unhatch it and it's going to automatically just come up. So, you know, don't have to deal with electronics, don't have to deal with a brain or controller or any switches. Like, just make it simple. Put hydraulics on it, call it a day. So there's all sorts of things that are just kind of starting to come together the more I see it. One of the things that he had to do is the seat used to come down here, and he had to re-weld the seat and actually put the leg over there to get out of the way of this. And then what was really funny is when I got the van back and I was sitting there and I'm like, holy crap, where's my Y pipe? Must have left it at the shop. Well, no, it's sitting right here. So this has to be, you know, cut, put back together where it needs to go. But at least the Y pipe is on there. And yeah, so we are doing pretty good here. Doing pretty good. So we'll keep going. And I found about 2 gallons of lizard skin left over from my car, and about 1.5 gallons of ceramic left over from my car. And I'm like, you know what? I got it. I need to use it. And so my philosophy of how I'm working the inside of the van is changing as we speak. And other people have that were here. My window guy, Nick, was over here, and he was like, yeah, man, we used to have this, I don't know if it was a Dot, maybe a Dodge Dart, but he was saying that it was just super, super hot in that car, and it literally dropped a major amount of degrees when they did the lizard skin. So we will, that was what I originally wanted to do like 3-4 years ago, and then I kind of talked myself out of it and said, I'll just throw some, you know, whatever, Dynamat and stuff up there, but it's not really an insulator. It's just a sound proofer, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, it's going pretty good here. All right, so it took about 1 hour and I got pretty much, I would say 98% of all. I mean, there's a little bit here and there, but I'm gonna sand this down a little bit right there. Looks like there's a dent here and there's some kind of plug sticking out, which, yep, looks like there's, you know, what's funny is I'm seeing this and I'm seeing this, and up front I'm seeing 3 screws in the center, like this thing was a taxi cab or something. It had a sign or something on it, unless there's some extra stuff that these things used to have that I don't know about. But you can see right up there, something used to be there. But man, I got literally most of the stuff off pretty well, and it's just a disaster in here. But as we were taking the windows out, and some of my friends were talking, came over, and it's like, oh yeah, it's a really nice day, and I'm like, yeah, you know, and then I'm like, it's only gonna get hotter. Might as well do this today. So this isn't rust, this is all glue. So I think there's a little bit of rust. There's actually a little bit of rust up there and up there on that one and this one. And not sure if there's something going on, but we will definitely find out. Maybe there was something else going on up here, some kind of rack or something. But you can see that indentation. Reminds me of something that would be a light, like a taxi light or something. But otherwise, you know, the sides of the van are looking pretty good. The other big worry I have is inside the doors. This doesn't look too bad over here, but this one's looking pretty bad. Don't know if I can poke holes through it, but and like here I'm seeing a little bit of light coming in through there. Let's go take a look. Oh, okay, I think that's just, that's where the hinge is coming in. So that is called seam sealer later, and it looks like I'm seeing seam sealer right there, so that makes sense. So I tried moving these doors the other day, and on this side, seam sealer was, you can see right here, it's just glued all around this thing. And then I went to the other side, I'm like, oh, these are wide open. Okay, that's my deal. So ripped out the seam sealer, put some oil in there. So we'll see what we could get done. But, and I think seam sealer's holding these on. So I might take a crack at pulling these off, getting that out of here. But, you know, it's funny because people are like, well, you know, what's your next thing? What's, you know, what's the order? What are you doing? And, you know, it's, I do have an order, but it's changing every minute because the more I dig into stuff, you know, like I thought I was going to drop this off at the body shop. He's going to fix all these areas. I'm going to come back, strip the paint. So I found these straight head screws in the ground, and I was like, man, why would they have straight head screws in the ground? And I was like, oh yeah, it's old. And then I realized the carpet's blue. So these are the original screws from the factory with the original blue carpet, because this thing was all done in red, but originally it was blue with the baby blue paint. So yeah, a little bit of history there. So I'm assuming that the Ford Motor Company guys don't drink beer on the line, but this is what I found inside the passenger door. So along with a bunch of other stuff, it was probably a foot deep of all sorts of wrappers and weird stuff, but yeah. That was a crazy day. Just put about 10.5 hours in, and got all the windows all ready to go. Got to take them apart, clean them up. Got my little rig ready to go. Van looks like nothing happened, except when you come to the front, then you kind of notice it's sagging in. But otherwise, to the neighbors, everything looks fine. Nothing happened. Yeah. We got our stud welder here, our hammers. So there's a hole on top, a hole on top, there's another hole in the middle. There's 3 holes in the center and the front. So once we strip the paint off, I'm going to be finding a lot of stuff. And it's disappointing and at the same time expected. It's not like I didn't expect it. So that's kind of where we're at. Everything is all over the freaking place. Just wanted to work, get it done. And you could see how, you know, there's all sorts of craziness, and then the car, and then all sorts of craziness and all sorts of craziness. And I really don't like that, because I trip over stuff or whatever and boom, run into the car. Don't want to do that. So I need to triage a lot of this stuff and get this place cleaned up. But this day I wanted to really put some time in. I need to sit down and really think about what I'm going to do tomorrow, because I was thinking about it, and you know, I do need to polish and get this stuff put away. I do need to do the windows and get that put away. And but I have air conditioning, and so I could come in here any night and polish with the garage closed, do what I need to do, and not really worry about it. And so I figured, why waste my long weekends doing that when I could, you know, be doing the main stuff that I can't get to on the weekdays, because there's just not enough time to start those projects. But here's what we got going on. All the windows are gone. You know, I scraped this floor to get all the aluminum insulation stuff off. We sanded the whole ceiling, scraped that off too. Got, you know, most of it. There's a few little pieces here and there, but nothing crazy. Scraping got about 95% of it off, and then sanding it got another 95% off. So really worked out really well. And you can see, like, I've sanded parts on the top rim there, right before the window. But, you know, as we've gone through, we got holes in the floor. We got some other rot in this area. It's not horrible. This is rotted. The pan that goes over this area, that's rotted. So, but for the most part, it seems like everything else is really good. I'm not sure, but we're going to see how the paint stripper stuff works. This might be an area where I want to sandblast. I don't know. We'll just have to see. The other thing I'm noticing is this really, it's probably hard to tell here, the camera, but this goes in, it comes out. Over there, it kind of bows up right past the sunlight, goes back down. So there is a little bit of a waviness going on. It's probably hard to tell on camera. I can't really notice it. But this kind of comes back up, goes back down. And, you know, I look and there is frame rail right there, which is why it's probably staying up. It's supported. And the rest of this is all just a little bit not as supported. But, yeah, I'm really kind of shocked how far I got yesterday. And, you know, I was trying to use some power tools to kind of, you know, speed this up, but it didn't really speed stuff up and it just made a lot of noise. So I went on hand sanding, got probably the most cardio I've had in 4 years, and just sanded and sanded and sanded for an hour. So we're going to do some test samples with some paint stripper, some oven cleaner, just some little sections in here, kind of see what it does to the glue. And while that's happening, I think I'm going to start removing all this stuff up front. Start taking the seats out, take some of the engine parts off, so we don't need them anymore. The only thing with that is, where am I putting it? I don't know where I'm putting anything. I don't have any space anymore. So we need to do a lot of stuff. And as you could tell, that 10.5 hours wiped me out. You can even hear it in my voice. My voice is like a half octave lower. It's like I'm getting ready to sing.